Wang-wang, who's there? I'm Tony Velasquez. On this program, you and I will explore the innovations and advances that technology can contribute to improving the Filipino way of life. We'll upload information and ideas on the hardware and software that will make you aware of new directions that can lead to better ways of doing things. There's no time like the present to think about a future perfect. There's a new #1 in town, and he's already promised not to use the technology of the wang-wang. But can we expect the new Aquino administration to harness and promote local and foreign technology to achieve progress in the next 6 years? For that matter, just how important is science and technology in this country?
Are you always glued to ANC? Then you've probably had this musical government-sponsored advertisement drilled into your subconscious by now by a falsetto-belting Jed Madela. Say what, Jed? Okay, let's hear those lines again very quickly now and in a higher falsetto. Yup, that's right, folks. That line from Jed's song proudly proclaims that you and I and the rest of the Philippines can keep pace with technological advances in the world. But while Jed sings true, does the claim ring true for the present state of Philippine technology? From the website of the Department of Science and Technology's Philippine Council for Industry and Energy Research and Development comes this government headline. Science and technology gets unprecedented support under Arroyo Administration. From 2001 to 2009, government support to science and technology had been recorded as highest in terms of funding and institutional support. High-impact projects were given the much-needed push through the availability of funds, enactment of laws and directives, and overall national leadership. What else does this government press release claim? Science and engineering education has been in the topmost agenda of the government. In 2007, President Arroyo authorized the Department of Budget and Management to release 200 million pesos for master's and doctorate level scholarships in science and engineering. This is in addition to the supplemental budget of 500 million pesos put up in 2006 to build a science complex in UP Diliman. Well, aside from science and engineering education, the Arroyo government's technology agenda included technology upgrading for disaster management and climate change, the development of clean alternative energy sources, and technology to strengthen food security. President Arroyo's support for S&T was obviously well appreciated by Filipino scientists. Well, at least by the National Academy of Science and Technology. The NAST threw a Thanksgiving party for her in Malacanang just 5 days before she officially ended her term. But not everybody's impressed or blinded by the brilliance of present-day Philippine science and technology. In a January 2010 Inquirer Youngblood editorial, contributing writer Ronald Kamit, a 26-year-old software engineer and master's degree student of technology management in UP Diliman, submitted this rant. The Philippines is a technologically backward country, said Ronald. We do not have a strong national drive toward innovation, and nobody seems to be aware of it. Now, it's not clear where Ronald got his statistics, but his editorial points out that the Philippines has fewer than 3,000 PhDs, and about half of them are working abroad. Ronald added that R&D spending is less than 0.2% of our gross national product, way below the 1% benchmark set by the United Nations for developing countries. This Youngblood's views are generally supported by an insightful paper written in September 2002 by Dr. Cesar Cororaton, a senior research fellow at the Philippine Institute for Development Studies. Here, Dr. Cororaton points to the 1999-2004 medium-term plan of the DOST, which covers 6 flagship programs. Dr. Cororaton said, although the vision and direction of the plan is novel, there are no specific implementation rules and guidelines. Dr. Cororaton's 2002 paper also reported that in 1999, while the Philippine educational system produces one of the biggest numbers of college graduates compared to other countries, it generates one of the smallest numbers of graduates with science and engineering skills. The paper concluded with specific recommendations meant to improve budgetary support for technology research and development, and eventually the mass production of new Philippine-made technology. Old recommendations that perhaps President Noy Aquino and his new DOST secretary can look into and prove Jed Madela's song to be true.
Kaya mo, kaya ko, sumabay sa teknolohiya ng mundo. Kaya mo, kaya ko, manguna sa langalang pipiliin ko. Kaya mo, kaya ko, sa Pilipinas ngayon.
Gotta hand it to that guy, but now we're joined by somebody who can probably sing even better than Jed Madela. He's the representative of AGHAM, the party list group that ran and won on a platform of science and technology. He's a man that's very familiar in these parts. Joining us now is the former DZMM station manager, used to be my boss, and now AGHAM party list Congressman Angelo Palmones. Congressman, kamusta?
Thank you for putting me on spot.
Well, it's not every day that we get to talk about science and technology and how it pertains to legislation in Congress. Because, kayo yung pinakaunang party list pushing for science and technology advocacies in Congress. Right?
I think as a hardcore science and technology, specific focus on research and development, yes, AGHAM is the first. Marami na kasing nag-claim eh.
Marami na.
Marami na. There are other party lists that were elected before, and their claim is they're into promoting a culture of science in the country.
Okay. Well, what made them fail in that regard? Bakit hindi sila nakapagbigay ng ganung klaseng attention siguro?
Siguro hindi nila in-involve ang science community.
Okay.
Hindi naman in-involve, but I think the priority really is not on addressing the real problem. The real problem natin to develop a culture of science is starting it with basic education. No amount of additional year for high school and elementary will address the problem. In developing more scientists in this country, more mathematicians, more physicists, unless we start developing the minds of these future scientists when they're young.
So you're talking about higher education,
basic
specialized
education.
Basic education?
Yes.
So basic science, basic math?
The intervention should come on their formative years. Diba? Paano mo may hintay sa isang high school student na magkaroon ng interest sa math? Nung grade 1 at grade 4 siya, grade 1 to grade 4 siya, laging ang favorite subject niya, recess. I mean, we really have to invest on basic education, especially on developing the teachers, the competency of our teachers.
Okay.
Number 2, we have to provide incentives so that mas marami magkaroon ng interest. Otherwise, if we stick on generalizing the benefits for the teachers, sasabihin, ba't ako mag-i-invest for science and math teaching? Papahirapan niyo pa ako. When I can teach PE myself.
Okay. So your goal in Congress is to actually push for better or quality science and math education, but you're not necessarily pushing for more budgetary allocation for science and technology research.